What is going on, CloverTac crew and the Ghost Squad? Welcome to the Ghost and Clover podcast. This is season 2, episode 11. Today, for the record, is Sunday, July 21st, 2024. My name is Trey, the Ghost Tactical, and I'll be your captain for tonight's flight. We'll bring our co-pilot in here in a second, but before we do that, we do want to say hello to everybody out there. This podcast is powered by our good friends over at European American Armory, and we'll talk a little bit about them here in a second. If you're out there in the live stream, go ahead and say something. We don't know that you're out there if you don't. If you're watching this in replay or listen to it in podcast form, welcome to the dark side, but we do invite you to join us live. It's a fun community over here. And plus, you could be eligible to give us our third topic. If you're new to the show, then we both bring a topics that neither one of us know about. It could be fun, could talk about whatever. But the third topic is the random viewer topic. It is going to be one of those that you bring a topic and we get to discuss whatever you want us to talk about, which is, let's say, interesting at times. This podcast is both on our networks of podcasts, but it's also available on the Self-Defense Radio Network and the Firearms Radio Network. So if you're out there in the podcast world, go check out all of your favorite pro gun, pro toy podcasts over at Self-Defense Radio Network and the Firearms Radio Network. Let's bring our co-pilot in. What's going on, Clove? How you doing, man?
Yo, I'm around, man. I'm around. Yeah.
Oh, yeah? You're around? I guess that's a good thing, huh?
Yeah. Much like the Beach Boys, round, get around, I get around, I guess.
I get around, woo. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Do you need help from Rhonda as well? Does Rhonda need to help you out?
No, I'm good. Okay. I'm good. Little Deuce Coop, it's running well.
Yeah, okay, that's good. Good. How about the 409? 409 running okay?
Well, it's what's in the Little Deuce. Yeah. So, yeah.
She's real fine.
That's what I dropped in the Little Deuce Coop. So, yeah.
Oh, okay. Huh? She's real fine. So, yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely. I plan on going on a surfing safari sometime. I don't know about you. So.
Oh, yeah. I don't know about the safari. Yeah, I try to just do some surfing.
You're just gonna go surfing USA. Yeah, I get that. You know, finding surf waves in Africa may be kind of tough sometimes.
They turn into hurricanes a lot. That's what I hear.
This is true too. Yes, if there's water, it's not usually good.
those African waves, is what they talk about all the time. Exactly. What makes hurricanes? So let's not do that.
Oh boy, we could go on and on with Beach Boys titles if we wanted to, but G Webbs is out there. He's looking for refreshments. It's in the green room, man, but I think all the brownies are gone at this point.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Exactly. Oh, you got a super sticker there from, is that Sage D, or how do you say that name?
Mr. Siege.
Okay.
Thanks, Siege.
There you go.
I can't see the sticker because I'm on the StreamYard side.
Yeah, I don't see it either. It just says super stickers, all it says for me.
Hopefully it's not too obscene.
Well, it is what it is.
It's YouTube. They won't even show a gun. So
this is true. This is true.
They won't show things that are obscene.
Yeah. But, just a reminder for those, like you said earlier, if you're out there in the live chat, welcome. Have fun out there. We plan on having fun tonight. But remember, the third segment, powered by our friends over at Monstrum Tactical, is the random viewer topic. So here in a little bit, we'll discuss on how you could enter the opportunity to give us the third topic. That said, Clover, my friend, first topic is yours tonight. What you got?
I do. So I want to, just because of what went down yesterday with me, I want to talk bucket list guns now.
Ooh.
Let me caveat this by saying bucket list guns are not wish list guns. Bucket list guns are things that are obtainable.
Sure.
Can be obtainable. You may have to save for a couple of years, or it's not a case where I got to win the lottery, or something like that. I could probably save my pennies, do some side hustles or something, and that sort of thing. And we see a lot of our, I think, bucket list guns when we go to Tulsa.
Oh yeah,
to the big show there. If you ever need to search for bucket list guns, Tulsa's the place to go. So I thought, after yesterday, it was a pretty good haul I had, and I thought, man, that like everything I got fit into the collection, and I was like, that's pretty cool. So let's have a conversation about that. So, what's one that's on your list?
I mean, obviously, probably for some of these, we're going to have to go through NFA, obviously, but they are obtainable if you have the money and want to do that. Obviously, the MP5, like a true blue, $40,000 MP5. A more actually obtainable as far as price wise, probably going to cost you, it's not going to cost near that, but it's going to cost you 10 grand plus. But I would really love to have like a true blue HK 416. I think that's just, to me, that's one of the best systems ever built. Probably I'd probably say an HK 416 would be, it's the first thing that popped in my head, obviously, besides an MP5.
Yeah.
When you said bucket list, yeah, those two are at the very top of my list for sure.
Yeah, I mean 40 grand, even 10 grand. Like, I'm trying to think if I've got anything I would consider bucket list at even 10 grand. That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. Yeah. It could be the $35,000 lever action that Buck saw at Wanamaker a few years back. I thought it was $350. Didn't realize the last two zeros were part of the price. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe if it was owned by John Wayne or something. Maybe.
Right. But, honestly, I would say, like, the obtainable ones. I mean, it's still expensive, but we're not talking NFA. We're not talking like crazy money, but it's still very expensive.
Yeah.
Probably, and you know this about me. My one of my favorite rifles especially for long range, is that Macmillan TAC 338 Lapua.
Oh yeah.
I'd probably say like the attainable ones that I would love to have one day. It'd probably the Macmillan 338 Lapua.
Where those come in at price wise?
Oh, I don't. Oh crap. Let's find out.
Macmillan 5 to 8.
I would guess at least 5. Yeah. Let's see here. Let me go 338 for sale. Let's just see. The TAC 338 about 6,500. So kind of right in the middle of what you were saying. Yeah, that's about right. Yeah. Yes, it's expensive, but I mean that's something that is doable.
Yeah. Sure. I think that would be doable. Yeah.
Fluffy up there says a Barrett 50. That's right up there with that same kind of a price point you're looking at. Yeah.
Yep. I would say a Korth. A Korth is definitely on my list.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of the model now, but they've got one that is it's got a longer barrel. It's got some rails and stuff on it. Pretty good looking revolver.
You and I have spent, we've been on phone calls, I mean, thousands of times over the years while we're looking on the internet, and especially a couple times we've been talking revolvers and Korth. I, as people know, I'm not a huge revolver guy, but I will say that the Korth stuff is pretty cool. Like, I mean, they've got some really cool designs.
The super sport stuff is what it is.
So what does that come at usually, price wise?
Somewhere in the neighborhood of $6,000.
Oh, okay. So we're looking about the same type of price point here.
Yeah, definitely. Anything older that's on your bucket list?
To say it, I mean, it's going to sound weird. And this, for like the last 4 or 5 years, I would love to get an M1 Grand.
Oh yeah.
I'm not going to pay the prices that they're going for these days. Although I kept saying I'll wait for them to come down. They may not come down. This might just be the new norm. As far as older stuff, I could see that. Now, if you're talking weapons and not necessarily guns, then I would love one day to get like an actual like samurai katana one day. Not gun, obviously, but
right.
I'll tell you one that's on the bucket list, and you know this, and it's not that it's not attainable. It's not that it's expensive. It may be unattainable just because they're not out there. But the Marine Corps M9 that you have,
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
like I said, the price is not a big deal. And it's not like you have to go through. It's just finding them, and especially finding ones that hasn't been shot that are like in the box and still good.
Yeah. Well, this is true, and that's there's a lot that's on that I have on what I would consider my bucket list that is that way. It's like it's just a matter of finding it more than anything.
Exactly. Yeah.
On the grant thing, I actually I was instrumental in causing somebody to spend some money not too terribly long ago. They were looking for a grant and was asking, should they get one or what should they do? And I told them what I tell everybody is that, with any type of things like that, the price only goes up.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
the longer you wait, the longer you're just going to be kicking yourself. And then they found one, and I forgot. I'd found some on CMP. Actually, had some in the I think like maybe the $1,100 range or something.
Yeah.
And and then they found one. I forgot how much, but anyway, they were letting me know they did buy it. It was but it had been rebarreled or something like that. And I said, here's the thing. At least you've got one now. And that's my advice is get one.
Yeah.
And then, if you run across one that is, original barrel, a better, what would it be? A better example, a better specimen, then, sell the one you got and buy that one, or buy that one and then sell you the one you got, or whatever you got to do to upgrade, in other words, the collection, right? And at least you got one. So
yeah, absolutely. And that's a good
you
point.
You may have to just break down and pull the trigger one day.
Well, and it's one of those things where you sit there and say, I see them all the time for $1,200-$1,300, and I was like, I still want them at that $750-$800 range they used to be at, and those prices might not ever be back again. So that $1,200 range might be the new norm, and I just have to accept that fact.
Yeah, most of what I was looking at was in the, I would say probably 12 to 15.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I see them.
Yeah, and I would venture a guess that if you wait the next couple of years, you're not going to find one below 15. So
yeah. Let's take a look at what people out there are saying. Sites out there saying Carcano, Nagant, Nambo type of weapons.
I'm thinking about letting go of my Carcano.
Are you really?
I'm thinking about
Well, you might have someone out there with sites that might be interested.
Yeah. Yeah, thinking about it.
Yeah. Kyle out there says he wants an M9 as well, and he wants the M4203, the exact setup he had deployed with in the Marine Corps. So that'd be kind of a cool thing,
right?
The cool thing is basically I have the rifle that I had in the Marine Corps in the Dissy. The difference is I don't have the 3-round burst selection, but I don't like the 3-round burst to begin with typically. So,
yeah.
I mean, it's still basically an A2,
Yeah. One that's always eluded me, and it's just eluded me because more than anything, it's eluded me because when I've got the money saved, it seems like, I found a deal or whatever on something else and ended up spending it because I didn't want to pass up on whatever that deal was. It was an M1A.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
And I want, I want wood. I would prefer it not to be a new model synthetic. Well, I mean, I'd be okay with a newer model, but I ain't a big fan of the synthetic. And I would even go as far as, the Polytech, the Chinese Polytech.
Sure,
they're getting up there in collectability and stuff anyway. So, heck, I
what
would
are the M1s run these days? A couple grand or something? About
No, you can get into an M1. You can get into an M1 for a little over 1,000.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. I figured it'd be like at least about 1,500 to 2,000 range somewhere in there.
Now, if you want to get into one like I'm talking about, you're probably closer to that 1,500 range.
Yeah.
When you start talking wood, but
right. Yeah.
Maybe even 1,600. But yeah, definitely under the. I see them all the time for sub 1,800, let's say.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but back when I I first decided I'd want one many years ago. They were going like kind of like the Grand and you. They were going for less than a grand. So
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's like, dang it, I'm gonna have to just break down and do it. Unfortunately,
Well, it's just one of those things, like you said. I mean, it's just one of those where we were accustomed for some of these specific rifles, milsurps, if you will, that were, we kind of knew what they were always priced at. You kind of always felt comfortable. Hey, I can get into maybe a banged up one or at this price, but to get a real nice one, it's going to be at this price. And then in the last
yeah,
5 years, it's not doubled, but it's definitely gone up on all of those. And you said, oh, it'll come back down. Well, I don't think it will. I think
yeah,
that those are, we used to think that the $500 AR, and now that same AR is now $1,000, $1,200, and it's like
right,
they'll go back down. No, I don't think they are. I think that's where they are now.
yeah. Well, I mean, once you come to the realization that milsurps are not going to go down, especially things like that, things they don't make anymore, collectible things, whatever.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, they're not
yeah, you
making
just got
them
to bite
anymore.
the bullet. I mean, the ones, not necessarily to shift the conversation, but if we're talking about wish list guns and doing what you got to do to acquire them and that sort of stuff,
Yeah.
that's why I did what I had to do to get the ones I come home with yesterday.
Yeah.
There was two of those specifically that were definitely high on the wish list, and unfortunately, neither one was just a couple $100 or it's like they've never been crazy cheap ever.
Yeah.
And when the offer was accepted, I really didn't have no choice. It's like I'm gonna dip into savings and I'll figure out how to replace that later on, but I got to take advantage of this, And so
well, I think that's like you said. I mean, these are things that are wish lists, that they're on a wish list because if they were easily attainable and always at a good price, they wouldn't be wish list guns. They'd be in our possession.
Right.
So when you do get an opportunity to come across a wish list gun, like you said, I mean, sometimes you have to, sell other stuff or whatever. You got to do what you got to do when that opportunity comes around. Now, a lot of my opportunities are always around. I just too cheap to pull the trigger on certain guns. But if there was one that I really wanted that was available and that I thought was a good price, especially since I don't see them very often, then it's kind of what you do,
Yeah. Well, and then also, it has to do with how often you add stuff to that list. I mean, my list is long and distinguished, and so
that's what she said.
yeah. But we go to, and we go to the big show at Tulsa or something like that, and things get added to the list all the time.
Oh yeah,
walking around
or things that get added to the list that you didn't even know were going to be on the list until you saw it. Like, oh, well, I can't pass that by.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's true. I've come home with several that I'm like, oh snap, can't. That's cool.
Just for the deal itself.
But there's others that I can't come home with. And,
no, I understand.
Like I don't have it or whatever, and so it's like, dang, I'll put those on the list and maybe later, I can come up with it. But you mentioned availability, and that's a big deal. I mean, with the this, but with the different Marlins that I have.
You've been looking for specific ones for a long time that you just can't find.
Yeah, I've been collecting those for, Lord, 20 years now or something. There's quite a few because there's a bunch of different series of those, but there's quite a few I don't have. And the thing is, when you find them, you can very easily find them for less than $200.
Yeah.
Or it's when you find them, I guess is how.
Yeah, that's true. But you will find them eventually. Yeah.
Typically they're less than $200. It's not a money thing, but good Lord, I mean, I'm trying to think. I think I may have picked up one in all the times we've been to the big Tulsa show. I think maybe I picked up one there. One.
Right. Yeah.
And so that says a lot for that show, for sure.
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah. And what you were talking about earlier is, we talked about these prices that we know what the prices used to be, and now we just have to kind of readjust what we know the price to be. But like you said, especially with like milsurp stuff, and I can't speak for like the old Marlin stuff that, are Sears Roebuck or whatever. I don't know if those will continue to go up in price, but a lot of these that are older guns, not even necessarily Milser, but they're older guns that obviously they're not going to be made anymore. There are only so many of them out there. If you're into the collectability, which I never have gotten into the collectible side yet, maybe I will down the line. I don't know. But for the collectible side, like you said, most of these older guns that there are no more of, there's only X amount of them out there. Values never tend to go down. They typically will only go up over time. So if you're looking at it as an investment, there are ways to kind of convince yourself why picking one of these up would be a good idea.
Yeah. No, I would agree. Yeah, I guess we need to probably talk about EAA. Before we do, though, for those out there listening right now, stick around, because the third topic, somebody out there will get an opportunity to choose to give us our third topic of the evening. So, but got to get through a few more minutes here of blathering before we do that. And talking EAA is part of that. So, yeah, the man, I don't even know where to go with the EAA. So, one thing is I got the MC312 out the other day.
Yeah.
For those that aren't aware, EAA obviously importer of a variety of different brands, mainly Gerson, with the handgun and the a little bit of their shotgun line, and then Akar with the rest of the shotgun line. So the 12 gauges, the Gerson, the MC312s are, a Benelli style action, very smooth, very nice shotguns. And then, if you bump down to the 20, then you've got more akin to a Mossberg or something like that in those.
Yeah,
but
sure.
yeah, the MC312, I had it out the other day, and man, that thing is it just runs. It's so much fun.
Yeah. I tell you, so my wife and daughter went somewhere to do some shopping over the weekend, and it's in an area of Arkansas that, let's just say, may not be the safest place in the state. And my wife has a gun in her car. My daughter carries all the time. I said, make sure you have your guns. And my wife's like, well, so the gun that she's got in her car, I want to say right now it's the Walther PPQ subcompact.
Oh yeah.
And she's like, it's still a little bit big. She took like a little smaller purse to go shopping. Uh-huh. And I said, well, I've got something if you want, something to put in your purse. And my daughter had hers in her purse, but I pulled out the 1911 Ultimate subcompact in 9mm, and I forgot how cool that gun is. It's such a cool little subcompact 1911 9mm. It's just really, really a cool gun, and they've got so many cool things over there. I mean, they literally have something for everyone in the handgun game. We talk about the 2311 and the high powers and all the 1911s and the 10mm and all of that. But I tend to forget that the reason why I even heard of Gerson originally was you were talking to me about them, about the Regard, which is a Beretta 92 clone.
Oh, yeah.
And I had never heard of Gerson at the time. And you're talking about how good the Regard was, and you're talking about they took all the good stuff from the 92, but all the stuff that were questionable, which there's quite a bit, made them better and all that. And I remember that was the first time I kind of heard about Gerson. People forget about the Regard and some of the guns that kind of put them on the map, because the last few years they put out such amazing stuff,
Yeah, it really does get overshadowed.
Yeah.
I think you're right. But I mean, for those that aren't familiar with that Regard, I mean, picture a Beretta Centurion, right? Beefy. Is it the Centurion or the Brigadier? I don't remember, but whichever one's the beefier. Picture that with all the bells and whistles and extras and then at a price point
Yeah.
less than the base Beretta, 92 FS. And it's
Oh
like,
yeah. Well
how can you
below the base
possibly,
price point.
yeah, yeah, better trigger, beefier slide, replaceable sights, just um, all the amenities, man. And
Yeah.
it's just hard to beat. I mean, the only complaint I hear people say when it comes to the regard
Mm.
is the slide mounted safety decocker.
The safety. Yeah, I get it.
And you got to keep in mind that Gerson does do the regard in an MC Gen 3, I believe is what it's called. That is slide mount. I mean, frame mounted like the Taurus and
Hmm.
like the original Berettas. So there are options out there. You
Yeah.
just have to know they're out there and then be looking for that particular option. Uh,
Yeah.
if you so choose. But yeah, good call on the 92 for sure.
Yeah, it was just one of those that we talk about all the awesome stuff, and they do. They have a lot of awesome stuff, but we don't really mention the cool stuff from yesteryear. That they're still available.
Oh yeah, they're always coming out. Every show they make, they've got a new distributor model in that regard. That's
Absolutely.
gold or gold inlay or silver or crazy
That
grips or some
ivory,
weird
yeah.
color.
Oh man,
Yeah,
it's some really cool stuff.
yeah, yeah. They put out some really sweet. I guess you could say limited edition because they're
Yeah.
distributor editions.
So they are
Limited
limited.
edition regards. Yeah,
About 250 to 500 most.
yeah. I
G-Webs
think
out there says
that's
9
right.
millimeter was made for purse carry. Perfect caliber for that. There you go.
Why not?
Scott out there says he's never been a fan of the 92. It feels like a brick in his hand. I get it. I understand why a lot of people don't like the 92. And I'm not saying that it's my favorite handgun. I would never say that. I like the M9 or 92, but my affection for it is much deeper. That's how I
Yeah,
learned to shoot a handgun.
yeah.
Is the M9. So it was one of those where had I not had a good experience with that M9, I might not be here today, honestly. And two, I wouldn't like the 92. But I'm not saying by any means it's the greatest handgun out there. It feels perfect or nothing like that. It's more of nostalgia for me, if you will.
Yeah, in the on the grip. Yeah, I mean that was you got to realize that's when double stacks were double stacks,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Once you got down into some of these pocket carries and engineers went to work and they figured out a way how they could get the stack and a half. A
Yep.
lot of things out there now folks don't realize is actually stack and a half. It ain't
Yeah, they're
double
not
stack.
double stack. Yeah.
They were able to get a little bit thinner like that. So I mean, I totally get it. And one thing that I found that has made a huge difference with me with anything in that particular platform, what I consider the 92 platform,
Yep.
is going with either thinner grips
Yep.
or wraparounds. Make a
Sure.
huge difference for me. And I need to get with. Speaking of that, I need to get with our friends at Lock Grips. Uh, they don't make too terribly many shows. Matter of fact, I think they have been trying to get a new facility, manufacturing facility, and all ready to go in the last
Right.
few months or something. But they were actually working on grips for the regard,
Oh, there
and
you go.
I'm
Nice.
going to be super excited once they're putting those out because everybody knows that's one of the first things I change, like right out of the
Mhm.
box before I even shoot it. A lot of times,
Yeah,
like
you're a
I'm,
big
I'm a grip snob.
aftermarket grip guy. Yeah, you are.
Yeah,
You
I'm a grip style. I like a really tacky, really grippy grip, and
are.
aggressive grip, I guess you could say. And so, and it can't be too thick and all that kind of stuff. But
Yeah. Oh, I
yeah.
hear you.
Anyway, you're
All
up now,
right.
I guess.
I'm up. Before I go into my topic, remember after this topic, we will have the random viewer topic. So stick around if you're out there in the live stream. Stick around for 10 minutes or so, and then we'll tell you how you can tell us what we're going to talk about in that third topic. Could be anything, whatever you want. We talked about guns in Clover's segment. We're going to talk music in my segment. And we kind of flirted with this a few weeks ago over on the Armed Citizen podcast. But I want to kind of do something tonight. And I'm not saying top 3 or top 5 or whatever. I'm not saying that. But I want to talk about so it's kind of the same thing. I want to say the best songs of all time / our favorite, because typically if they're our favorite songs, then we think that they're the best songs. But some of our favorite songs of all time, and then maybe if it's a different list, briefly talk about what we think maybe are the best songs of all time. So I'm gonna give you a few seconds to think about it if you need to. I figured you probably won't take that long because you know what some of your favorite songs are.
It's tough for me anyway. I'm
It
just
can
gonna
be
be
any
rambling
genre.
off
Yeah.
stuff
Oh
because,
yeah.
like, I've got a USB drive with I don't even know
It
900
really
songs
depends
on
on
it,
what kind of mood we're in.
and like I can listen to any of those 900 songs over and over and over and over. So to say
Yeah.
my favorite is tough.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's for you. It might be, instead of picking your favorite, it might be easier to say, what you think maybe some of the best songs are that may not be your favorite, but you respect that they're great songs.
That's true.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm not putting these. I'll tell you my top 2 later, and the rest of these are going to be in no particular order. I'm just going to kind of go what comes off of my the top of my head. First one that I love is, everyone knows I'm a big Pink Floyd fan, and probably my favorite Pink Floyd. Well, I don't know if it's my right now. It's my favorite Pink Floyd song. Is Time from Dark Side of the Moon. I love Time. That's I think that it's such a great song. That's one of my favorites of all time.
Yeah. To kick things off, probably it's most likely something from Queen.
Yeah.
Probably Don't Stop Me Now. Maybe. I'm gonna go with that. I mean, Bohemian Rhapsody.
That's a good one. You can't go wrong with that.
Great one. Is a great one too.
Yeah.
But I mean, the thing that I guess has got me with Bohemian Rhapsody is it's just kind of, it was shit when it first came out.
Yeah.
And then between movies and other things, it got kind of a cult following and everything else.
Yeah.
I'd be interested from the chat. So chime in out there, and if you're in replay or something, comment down below too, especially if you're like me and you're a Queen fan. Where does Bohemian Rhapsody fall, like, in your top 5 Queen? I'm just curious, because for me, I don't think it falls as high as a lot of other people. You know what I mean? That are not Queen fans.
Yeah. I like Queen.
The Hammer to Fall is to me is better. There's just a few that are just.
I'm one of those people that know all the popular Queen songs, but I was never a Queen fan to where I would like listen to all their albums, even the B-sides and all that. Yeah. So I don't know a lot of those songs. I would say that Another One Bites the Dust is up there. I love that song.
Definitely is.
There's I mean, they had so many songs that were great, but I don't know. I would say for me, Bohemian is in a top 5. It's probably at number 5. But once again, I'm not that guy that knows all the songs from every album. It was just, I know the ones that were popular. So
right.
Yeah. Okay. Another one for me. If I had to go with favorite songs, this is going to be in a very obscure song that a lot of people probably have never heard of, but I would suggest maybe going to listen to this song. It's from a guy, and it's actually he's I guess he's an Orthodox Jew that sings reggae. His name is Manas Yahu.
Ah,
and a lot of people never heard of them and all that. But if you hear the song "One Day," it's one of the greatest songs ever. Um, and people might know the song. It was popular back in the day. They still may not know who it was, but Modest Yahoo "One Day" is a phenomenal song. That's one of my favorites. I'm not
yeah,
saying it's one of the best songs ever. It's one of my favorites. I love that song.
right, right. Yeah, I'm thinking about this. I got our gym membership all set up the other day, so this is actually a good topic because it's got me thinking about things I can put on my
You got to put on your
phone
playlist. Yeah, yeah.
or something to be able to. I can't use the USB drive in there, so
True
I'll have
that.
to try to get a playlist. But I want some upbeat stuff. Don't Stop Me Now
Yeah,
is pretty upbeat. So,
yeah.
you know, another one that's fun that I love when it pops up is Ramones. I Want to Be Sedated.
Want to be sedated? I was listening to that earlier today, as a matter of fact.
It's just such a good, it's just such a good.
So I have a
I don't know what it is.
playlist, and
So good.
it's and we're very similar. My music
It's
likes
eclectic.
are very eclectic,
Yeah.
and I have a playlist I just called it "Good Shit," and
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
everything. It can go from George Strait to Two Live Crew. I mean, it's in a heartbeat. But I Want to Be Sedated was on that. It popped up, and I've got like 500, 600 songs in that playlist. So I don't get to hear all the songs all the time, but when you hear that 2024, I was like, oh, here we go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah. Right.
I'm a
Right.
huge punk fan, and the Ramones,
Yeah.
and Blondie,
Oh yes.
were phenomenal back in the
Yes.
70s and kind of made
Yes.
punk. Yes, you have the Sex Pistols and all that, but the Ramones and Blondie and the Cars kind of made punk acceptable, maybe.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah, that's a great one. Want to Be Sedated? That was a great one. All right, so I'm gonna go with I'm gonna tell you my top 3 favorite songs of all time. I'm gonna start with my first one. Be at number 3,
Okay.
and it's "God Only Knows" by the Beach Boys. And
Yeah.
ironically, we were singing the Beach Boys.
Yeah.
I think it's a beautiful song. I think that Brian Wilson had a way of writing songs that were beautiful, but they were also technically, I mean, amazing. Like you don't hear the depth unless you really listen to what he's created in music in these songs.
Right.
God Only Knows is one of the most beautiful songs ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's another one of your favorites out there?
Purple Rain.
Purple Rain. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
slowing it down a lot with that, but Purple
Yeah.
Rain. Yeah.
I love Purple Rain, but it is not my favorite Prince song. I think my favorite Prince song is Raspberry Beret. I don't know why. I love Raspberry Beret. I think it's just that the beat of that was Raspberry Beret. But yeah, that's my favorite Prince song. But yeah, Purple Rain is iconic.
Probably secondary Prince to that is Kiss.
Yeah, I
It's just
actually
really
was not a big fan of that song when it first came out. I've come to
it's just really
appreciate it more.
funky. It's funky, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah. When it first came out, maybe I just wasn't in the mood for that. But as you get older, you go back and say, "Man, I don't know why I didn't like it back then, but that's such a good song."
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
That's a good one. My ironically, so my top 3 are going to be older songs. I grew up in a household that had music always, but it's a lot of the 60s and 70s stuff, and even 50s stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of my musical influences from my dad were the older oldies but goodies kind of stuff. And these are songs that kind of just stuck with me to this day. My number 2 favorite song, I think it's wherever you want to put it, I think it's a top 10 greatest songs ever written, is "House of the Rising Sun" by the Animals. I just absolutely love that guitar riff. Is so simple, but when you hear it, you know exactly what it is.
And that's a song that I could almost. I'm totally fine with pretty much any artist performing it. I don't know that
Oh,
I've ever.
absolutely. Yep,
I don't know that I've
absolutely.
ever heard a bad cover. I've heard covers like with using banjos and like all
Hmm.
kinds of things, and
Oh yeah,
it sounds so good. Yeah, I would
yeah,
agree.
yeah. It's a great song. Eric Burden's voice in his in the Animals version is like kind of a dark voice to begin with. So I just love that song. And you're right. I mean, there's not a bad cover out there. It's a good song when everyone and anyone covers it, and you're just like, yeah, it's pretty good, pretty good.
Yeah, yeah, right.
It's
Yeah,
hard to mess up great songs. Now, I'm not saying that
right.
all covers are good. There are some terrible ones just because they
Oh,
just
there's
can't
somebody
sing.
out there. There's definitely somebody out there that butchered the shit out of it. I'm sure, but
Yeah, yeah,
I've heard very few.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
What's another one for you?
Um, man, kind of along the same lines as the guitar you're talking about is the bass line in this one. Amazing.
Ooh,
You have to be the stamina of a bass guitarist to get through this song. I think it would have to be pretty crazy. Billie Jean.
okay.
Oh my God!
You
Like,
talking about Michael Jackson, Billie
yeah,
Jean?
talk
Oh
about
yeah,
Michael
yeah,
Jackson's
yeah.
Billie Jean.
See that song musically, if
Like,
you listen to it without words, just the instrumental,
oh
it's
God, yeah,
incredible. It is
yeah, oh
incredible.
yeah, 100%, yeah, yeah. It um
Do 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 do.
I
I mean, it's
know, and
like
then the
it's
tube
constant.
tube. If you ever listen to that song, like people will think you're crazy because if that song is playing when you get out to go in the grocery store or something, you will walk down the aisles going doop 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 doop
Well, but they
doop
also will know what you're
doop
doing. Also, they'll also
doop.
know the song. They might
Everybody that
look at
passes
you.
by you knows exactly what it is. That's
You'll
what's
get a
crazy
hee
about it.
hee or something
Yeah,
from them.
yeah, yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, but it's just there's just everything with it. The guitar in there there's not a lot of guitar in there, but what
Nope.
is it's done very well. It's just
No,
yeah, it's great.
it's a solid song. Solid song. Yeah.
Great instrumental. I mean, obviously you could dance to it, assuming you can dance.
Well, you know what? Even if you can't dance, go for it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Sometimes it's better when you can't dance and just enjoying yourself.
right. This is true. This is
Yeah.
true.
My all-time favorite song, and I think it's the greatest song ever written. And it comes back almost kind of like House of the Rising Sun, where there have been some incredible covers. And honestly, the original is amazing, and I always love it. But even some of the covers, I think, are I enjoy them more than the original. But my favorite song, which I think is also the greatest song ever written, is "Sound of Silence" by Simon and Garfunkel.
It's a great one.
It's my all time favorite song, and I know it's a kind of a weird, slow song. I
Yeah,
remember as a young child hearing that song for the first time and instantly like, whoa, that's amazing. Disturbed has maybe the
oh,
best version of
amazing.
it. It's
Yeah,
incredible.
yeah. Probably maybe even better than Simon and Garfunkel. You know
And
what I
I'm saying
mean?
I hate to say that, but I think it is, and
Yeah.
I think even Paul Simon has admitted publicly that that's his favorite version of the song ever
Uh-huh.
as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I would agree.
So,
That's another one that there is a lot of good covers out there for, no
yeah,
doubt.
and
Sure is.
I think that that's probably goes into what makes great songs because no matter what genre, you could do bluegrass, you could do it reggae, you could do it
Yeah.
hard rock, you could do it whatever, but a great song will cross different genres if it's a great song.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you had to kind of pick, maybe right now is maybe a good way of saying it. Just right now, like in the last month or so, is there a song that's kind of gotten you to where like it's your favorite song right now? Because it is hard to say all time songs, favorite songs, but maybe your favorite song right now.
Uh. Yeah. Ruling out some guilty pleasures anyway.
Hey, guilty pleasures are
Uh.
great.
Maybe we go down that road here in a second and throw out a guilty
Sure,
pleasure. But
absolutely,
No Sleep Till Brooklyn.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Great Beastie Boys song.
There's been a lot of No Sleep Till Brooklyn. for whatever reason. Another guitar riff that you will
Yep.
hum or whatever. Um,
Boom, boom, boom. I've been listening
yeah,
for some reason. Sabotage has been coming up in my
Sabotage
playlist
is
quite
good.
frequently, and I
Yeah,
love Sabotage. People don't understand um, how good the Beasties really were. Not just the fact that they were doing what they were doing in the mid '80s, which was unheard of, but they were incredibly talented musicians. They were basically could have been one of the best punk bands ever if they wanted to, instrumental wise, and they just happened to rap over punk music, which is incredible. But they were great musicians as well.
right. Yeah. So guilty pleasure lately?
Oh boy,
Oh
I've got
my
a
god.
bunch of them. Yeah, go for it.
Lately, over the last week or
Yeah,
two.
yeah.
Uh, uh, Humpty Dance.
Humpty Dance, nice. Pronounced with
Yeah.
an umpty.
Pronounced with an umpty. He likes his oatmeal lumpy. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lately, man, I had I heard it. I mean, I don't want to say it was on maybe on a YouTube thing or I was one night, you go in the rabbit hole shorts, whatever. And I hadn't heard it for years. And I remembered how much I used to love this song. Cinderella, don't know what you got until it's gone. Love,
Great. Cinderella's got
love
multiples
that.
that are great. Yeah. Don't you what you
Yeah,
got?
Gypsy Road is a good one, but
Gypsy Road coming home.
yep,
Uh, Little Shelter.
yeah.
Shelter.
But I
Shelter
hadn't
Me.
heard
Shelter
don't know
Me
what
is
you
what that's called.
Shelter Me. Yeah, I hadn't
Yeah.
heard don't know what you got for a while. I mean, it's probably been a year or so. But I heard it. I was like, oh man, just forgot how much I love that song.
Yeah. Yeah. There's so much, man. It's just like I said, it's out there, and I'll hear things all the time. It's like, oh snap, I haven't heard that in a while, and
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just I'm real easy to please, I guess, when it comes to
Oh, I am
when it comes
too.
to music. Honestly.
I heard a song this morning going into work that I hadn't heard in a while,
Yeah.
and brought back memories, brought back just
Yep.
good, awesome emotions. And it was Christopher Cross Sailing. I was like, oh my God, what a great
Um.
song.
Yeah. Yeah. So let me ask. I gotta ask
Yeah.
this
Okay.
because a huge star and everything, of course.
Hmm.
Tay Tay. Is
Yeah.
there anything in your rotation that's Taylor Swift?
Yeah, I actually don't mind her very first album that came out. When it was
Okay,
like
so the
Tim
old,
McGraw, the
really early
old
stuff.
early
Yeah,
stuff when she was still
yeah,
country.
yeah,
That her first album
yep,
actually was really good.
yeah.
Like the Tim McGraw, and there was about 4 or
Mhm.
5 songs on that album. That whole album was pretty damn good.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. That's
Old
me.
early
There's
Taylor Swift, I'm okay with. I don't like any of the new stuff.
Yeah, I've got a few tracks that are the Picture to Burn. There's
Picture the Bird's a
comes to
great
mind.
one. Yep.
There's a few, the less than a handful. Of tracks. Again, out of 900 on that USB drive that are Tay Tay, and it's I
Yeah.
just I ain't into the newer stuff, and it's not that I'm not into that side of things. I mean, I've
Yeah.
got uh, obviously I got Gaga's in there, and all kinds of stuff,
Yep.
but I just
Yeah.
the more popular she got, the more she lost me. I just
Yeah. I agree.
didn't care.
Going down the line, Picture of Teardrops on My Guitar is a great one. Cold as You's a good one.
Uh-huh.
Um, yeah, Tim McGraw, Picture to Burn, Teardrops on My Guitar, Cold as You. Those are the ones on that one that I really enjoy.
Yeah.
But that whole first album of hers was pretty good. Snob out there says, I'm only here to say Kyle Wade for president.
Well, I hear you can run on the Democrat ticket now.
Yeah, it's it's going to be an open convention apparently. So
Looking that way.
yeah,
Lord.
yeah.
All right, we got to find somebody to
Yeah. Give us
pick
the
our
last
next
topic.
Mhm.
It
Yeah, we
can be
do.
anything that doesn't get us kicked off of our platforms. And we kind of know what those topics are, but anything we can talk about: food, music, guns, cars, whatever. And I tell you, even if we don't know, we can talk about it for 10 minutes.
We'll talk about how much we don't know about it.
That's right. That's right. So type the number 11 out in the chat. That's all it is. Number 11. No hashtag, no nothing, just 11.
Two singles.
And we'll give it a minute. Yeah, we'll give it a couple of minutes. We'll talk while you guys are doing that. We'll give you a minute or two. We'll talk a little bit about Monstrum Tactical. And, we talk about Monstrum all the time, great optics and all that. We talk about their accessories, whether it's mounts or, rings and all that. They have really, I've been using them since 2018 is when I started to use Monstrum stuff.
Yeah.
And really do love their stuff, and they're good friends, but they've turned into good friends. I was buying their stuff because when I started first getting kind of into the LPVO game, I didn't want to go spend a ton of money because I didn't really know if I would like them or not. And I think that the first one I ever got was a Monstrum because I got it for a couple $100 or something. And it's still on a rifle at this point, and that's how good it is. But no, Monstrum is a great optics company. The quality that you're going to get, the value for the bang of the buck is probably the best in the industry, to be honest with you. But they're doing some great work, and they know who they are. They're not trying to hide who they are, and they're owning who they are, and they want to master who they are. And I know you have a lot of great experience with the Monstrum as well.
Yeah, one of the things I brought home yesterday that I've got to work with is a Bursa BAR-15.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Magpul version. I've already got the Mission Burst Tactical version, so I've got the Magpul version now that I need to work with, and guess what's going to go on top of it? I mean, there's no doubt
that.
It's going to be a Monstrum LPVO.
Yep.
Without a doubt. Now which power I don't know, but I got couple sitting in boxes in there. I'm not real sure what they are, but it will definitely be one of those that goes on there. Now the thing is they come with, just so everybody kind of knows, one of the cool things with the LPVOs is they come with a cantilever mount and everything. They come with everything you need. Obviously all the tools and the other things to get them mounted, but they come with everything you need. Personally, and for the price points, my suggestion is they've got so many different mounts. I would say go through and the mount that comes with it's fine, but I prefer to change that. It's a personal preference.
And they've got everything you want.
Yeah, I swapped that out with another version from Monstrum, but I just like the aesthetics, I guess, or whatever, of some of the other mounts they got. It's just they look better to me. But no, I actually had somebody the other day. Monstrum had came up, and they're like, "Yeah, I've looked into some Monstrum. I think they were saying it was 2016 or 17 or something, and I just wasn't impressed. I had some problems, and then I had to let them know. Well, you see,
give them a second chance.
Like you may want to give them another try. And we're like, really? And I'm like, yeah. They really got a hold of their manufacturing process. They were farming all that out, and in the early days. And I'm like, they really got that buckled down now. I said, so give it maybe give them another shot. And let's be honest, at the price point, and especially when they run a sale or something. Oh my God. Its price point it's worth giving them another try. I mean,
absolutely.
They're
Scott up there saying that he had two that went through a fire and they replaced them at no charge and with the new updated models.
I don't doubt it a bit. They're good people. They're good people.
He said I wish they would come in OD green. Well, it's called spray paint. You can do whatever color you want, man.
Yeah, painter's tape and spray paint, man.
And there you go, man. You're good to go. A lot of people talk about the LPVOs, and the great thing is they're not just LPV. They have dots. They have magnifiers. They've got prism optics. It's not just LPVOs. I think LPVOs where they a couple of years ago kind of where they hit their stride and like, okay, they changed the LPVO game, but they've got everything and anything over there that you want optic wise. They're great.
Oh yeah. Let's spin this wheel. Let's figure out what our topic is. What do you think?
No whammies.
hopefully everybody has got their topic in mind that dropped a 11 in the chat.
Fluffy's out there. I know he just said something. So Fluffy, give us a topic. You got about a minute to get it to us, and then maybe a little bit less. But you're out there. You're paying attention. So let's hear any random topic that you want to talk about. It could be about anything. You can talk about Pretty in Pink if you want. I don't know.
I don't know. So we really want to do that?
Let's not do that now.
John Hughes films. That could be
best sniper movies, like the Sniper series or any movies about snipers.
Any movies that has
I would say obviously well, I'll let you go first. There's some great Tom Berenger sniper movies that are fantastic,
Yeah, that's actually Sniper. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some really good sniper scenes in a lot of movies.
They have, yeah.
American Snipers.
That's got to be up there, right?
Top of the list with that. I mean, for sure.
That so my favorite is Shooter with Mark Wahlberg. That's another great, a great movie.
Yeah. Now, what am I thinking? We were talking about the other day, but that Rambo movie with the the younger soldier that with the 50 or whatever with the
yeah.
There was some pretty good. There was some pretty good scenes in that. That was some pretty good stuff. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Like what else?
Now we're talking scenes. Because if we're talking scenes, there's a couple great scenes at Enemy at the Gate. I wouldn't say it's a sniper movie, but a couple great scenes.
Yeah, when you say sniper movie, to me, I'm sitting here trying to like figure out.
Yeah.
Like, okay, which ones are actually about?
Yeah.
Snipers, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's tough. But yeah, there's some great scenes. There's some great scenes. Man, there's a lot of great sniper scenes.
Yeah, Full Metal Jacket, and that was a chick that was a sniper, which was an interesting twist. To spoiler alert, but
yeah,
if you haven't watched Full Metal Jacket by now, please get out.
What's wrong with you?
Get out of this. Just get out of this chat. Just log off and reassess your life. Okay.
That's right. That's right.
But yeah, that was kind of a twist, wasn't it? Like,
yeah,
kind of didn't expect that or whatever. But not a sniper movie, obviously. But
so I'm not saying that's not one of my favorites. It's one of those movies that I really.
Oh, how do we forget Jack Reacher?
Yeah, Jack Reacher for sure.
Yeah.
With him and
Robert
Duvall out there, and I saw one guy. A great movie is Jarhead, and it's not a great movie. It's one of my favorite movies because it's a pretty real movie. I'll say that. But Jake Gyllenhaal in that movie, he was a scout sniper back in the first Gulf War. And it was kind of his story of the life in the first Gulf War, and all he wanted to do is to get his first shot off in war. Great movie. But Jarhead had a couple of really kind of interesting scenes. There was a movie, golly, and I saw it a couple years ago, and I think it's a very underrated, very underappreciated movie, and I don't even know if a lot of people even heard of it before. And I happen to find it like on Netflix or something just randomly, but it's called The Wall.
Yeah.
And it's it's got some really cool, once again, scenes. It's not a sniper movie, but it's got some cool scenes in that.
Right. One that you might not think of, that if we're just talking scenes, is The Accountant.
Oh, The Accountant. Yeah. When, he's got the 50 out there on the farm. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, 100%. And that's honestly, we talk about this. I'm not a huge Ben Affleck fan. Hands down, his best movie in my opinion. That's a great movie.
Yeah.
Enemy at the Gates mentioned. Yeah. Let's see here. Fluffy said I started the Tom Sniper series from beginning yesterday. I mean, that's the Tom Berenger sniper. There's a bunch of them now, and the first 3 or 4 were always really good. I haven't seen the last couple because I think they've kind of just got away from themselves a little bit. But yeah, that sniper series is pretty good. DJ saying the professional. I don't know what that is. The professional. Let's see if I can find this real quick. You know what the professional is?
It sounds familiar.
Oh, okay. Yeah. 1994. It's that French actor that has been in so many things. Like when you see me, like, oh, you know him. I don't know his name, but he was in a ton of stuff, especially in the 90s, early 2000s. But yeah, I remember this movie. I was came out in 94, so I was doing other things in my life at that time, so I don't remember seeing it. But
Right.
I know when I saw that guy, I remember him, and I remember that movie. Yeah, Leon. Yeah,
Oh
I think
man,
that's him.
this. I don't know that this. This is going to be one of them things, maybe kind of like The Accountant, or maybe some other
Mm-hmm.
thing. But to me, Quigley Down Under counts.
I mean, I could see that. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. No, I wouldn't have like
I mean,
it's
that
not
could
when you
be.
think
You could.
sniper movie is not doesn't come to mind, but when you say
Yeah,
that, you're like, yeah, I guess there's a
we're
yeah.
talking
I mean,
about long range,
long
sniper
range
team.
shots, and
Yeah,
absolutely, yeah. No, I can see that. It's like I said, it's not one of those that quickly comes to mind, but when you say that, you're like, you know what? Yep, I'd be down with that. I can be down with
yeah,
that. Quigley fits under a lot of different things if you want it to. It's such a good movie, you know.
yeah. Oh yeah, it
Day of the
is.
Jackal. Oh, Day of the Jackal.
Ah,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes. That's a good one. Yes.
yeah,
Forgot about that one. It's a great one.
yeah.
Like I said, any of the Tom Berenger sniper movies are great. Obviously, Clover mentioned American Sniper. I would say Shooter was a good one. And I tell you what, the series Shooter, it's got Ryan Phillippe and not Mark Wahlberg in the movie, but man, I've watched that whole series several times. That's a fantastic. If you like,
Yeah.
man, you guys need to go watch the series, the TV show series. It's not out anymore, but you can go find on Netflix or wherever, called Shooter. It's with Ryan Phillippe. He plays. Excuse me. Same character.
Right.
And the first season kind of goes along with the movie, and I was a little bit different, but it's kind of follows that premise. And it's like 3 or 4 seasons. It's a fantastic series, so I'd definitely
Yeah.
go watch that.
Now the Bourne series, there was some
Yeah,
sniper scenes in the
there
Bourne
was.
series.
Yeah,
So
there is. Yeah.
I'm thinking about it, trying to think of some action movies. I'm sure there were nothing, nothing super long range, but there was some shorter range sniper stuff, quiet ops in Act of Valor, was there not?
Yeah, there was absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, there was that one scene where there were, I want to say, 3 targets they wanted to engage. They needed to do it simultaneously, and so obviously 3 guys picked out separate
Right.
targets. 3, 2, 1. Execute,
Yeah.
execute, execute.
Yeah.
And it's it's not necessarily long range, but that's very technical, and that's it's still a sniper.
Yeah. Yeah. Synchronized shots or
Synchronized,
whatever.
3 targets at the same time is not easy. So I would say, even if you're going to go there, you gotta maybe have to throw in a little, maybe 13 hours, because there's some synchronized in that
Yeah.
as well. It's more of an action, but I want to throw 13 hours out there for pretty much anything, but
Right.
because I think it's just a great movie. But
Well,
yeah, no, Our American Cousin. I don't know that one. I don't know that one. It doesn't ring
yeah,
a
I don't
bell to
either.
me.
I don't
Doesn't
either.
ring a bell. But yeah, fluffy, good topic. Good. There's all sorts of great. Like I said, it depends on how deep you want to go. Is it a movie about snipers or sniper scenes or sniper adjacent? Because there's a ton of them that are great, for sure.
Right.
There was one about the shooter in the water tower. No, this is just called Shooter, and the movie was Shooter with Mark Wahlberg, and then they came out with a TV series about it with Ryan Phillippe, and it's a great one. Great one.
Mhm.
Oh, he said it's an old one. Okay, DJ says it's an old one.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Thanks to Monstrum. Thanks to Fluffy and out there. What you got coming up in the next couple of weeks for our next
freaking rain.
show? No kidding, right? I guess so.
God, looks like this week.
It does
So,
look that way.
if you're waiting on all this big list of damn content I got to try to get cleared out, well, that ain't gonna happen. Man, I've got so much. We've talked about it on here at nauseum and privately at nauseum, and all the stuff from NRAM that came in, and then of course during that time there was all the rain, and in between NRAM and SHOT and NRAM and GunCon, and now since GunCon, and it's just stuff's piling up. So it's getting I don't know, it's getting a little bit what's the word, stressful, I guess, because you definitely don't want to stress, no pun intended there, I guess, the relationships you got with these companies and stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, just so much to do and so much I want to do. We're going to be doing some stuff with muzzle devices. We're going to be doing some stuff with obviously 30 super carry, just a wide variety of firearms and other things, and hopefully eventually get around to some personal collection stuff again.
Yeah.
Is kind of my goal. But before we know it, Goals is going to be upon us.
Yeah, that's a month away, man.
In about a month in Knoxville. So if you can make that, if you're out there and you're listening, it's shaping up to be a pretty damn good time. You may want to get over to, what is it, gunowners.org/goals, I think.
Yep. He is gunowners.org, and I promise you on the front page they're going to direct you to Goals website.
Yeah. Doing some probably kick off toward the end of next month, the last week or so, kick off the new podcast season. I've got
I was going to ask you when the second half of the season kicks off. Nice.
Yeah, I've got about 5 or 6 dates, 5 or 6 guests booked already, and expect to probably fill that season out this week. So
nice.
Hopefully. So we'll see how it goes. What about you?
Just trying to find time, man. This is my nuts part of my year. Everyone knows, if you don't, but this is Memorial Day to Labor Day is just typically just insane for me. So trying to find time, trying to keep energy up to where even if I can get off work, I can be at the range by 7:30 and maybe have another hour and a half or so before it gets dark. But just trying to get stuff done. Obviously, we have the Armistice podcast live every Tuesday night over on the channel. It's so fun. I want to take 2 seconds. It's not going to make this a long thing. So I was talking with a buddy of mine that works over at SAR and was telling me that I need to get on TikTok because they, blah, blah, blah. I said, I'm not on TikTok. I don't. He says, just go over there and try it. He goes, just throw a couple. They're actually, he said, I heard they don't like gun stuff. He goes, no, I've never had any problem with them. Just go through a couple of your old shorts or something and just throw them out there. So I created a TikTok account. And I put a couple different shorts out there from, a couple months ago or whatever. And within 2 hours, both of them got taken down for community guidelines on TikTok. So my time on TikTok was short, but not sweet. So
wow, I've been enjoying TikTok, and I've been putting all kinds of stuff, and I haven't had a single problem. Yeah. No, let me ask you this. Did you pay and verify your account?
Oh no, this was yesterday. I literally created an account, threw a couple videos up there, and within an hour or two, both videos were taken down. I was like, well, there you go.
I'm wondering if you could create an account and then you got to pay to get it verified.
Well, I might do that, but I just thought it was interesting that a couple of people have told me that they're actually not bad on gun stuff, and the very first 2 things I put up get taken down. I was like, you know what?
And I think I got a link in the community tab on the YouTube side of things if anybody's interested. But I have kicked back off the Discord, my Discord.
Yeah.
So,
I haven't been on my Discord in a couple years. I gotta
yeah,
admit.
I
I'm
haven't
sorry.
either. It was horrible. But I've got a couple of people that agreed to kind of help me clean things up, and they're basically doing all the work. All I got to do is go over there and post and interact,
Yeah.
which is great.
Sure.
They're managing it or whatever.
Sure.
Shout out to X3.
Moderating it.
Yeah, shout out to X3 if he's out there listening. But yeah, so that allows me to just go over there and do my thing. But yeah, I've been
Mhm.
playing around with it, and then with X for probably a
Yep.
month now or
I'm
two
really
months or
enjoying
something,
X.
and I
Yeah.
haven't had a single problem with X.
Nope.
So yeah,
I enjoy X.
yeah,
Thank you, Elon. So
yeah,
yeah, absolutely.
yep.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for watching out there. We do thank everyone for always promoting and supporting our endeavors, our individual channels, and all that. Um, Obviously, we ask you to go and support the people that make this podcast and all that. Go check out European American Army and go check out them over on Instagram, on Facebook, YouTube page, and all that. Go check out Monstrum Tactical's page. Give them a follow and just give them a comment on one of their social media posts. Just say, hey guys, thanks for supporting Ghost and Clover podcast. It does mean a lot. And obviously, they have great products out there as well. So, you got anything else before we get out of here?
All righty then.
It runs on water, man.